from the RFP, it looks like you guys pretty much use paper processes now. I wanted to kind of give you just a quick introduction to how we work with our customers. And we're a, software as a service or a cloud-based solution. A lot of people, there's a lot of different ways to define that. Some of our, competition, they basically take, older software and they host it for you, and they call it a cloud-based solution or software as a service, but it's really not. It's, it's just you're ending up paying more for, kind of an older technology that's hosted in a data center for you. We're actually all internet-based. The solution is device independent. We've actually been doing this 11 years. We started out with an internet-based solution, for community development and, primarily working with cities, counties, and states. So we've got, over 200 customers, and we've got thousands of end users who are, planners, building officials, inspectors, stuff like that. The main difference really between what we offer and our competitors in a lot of cases is we're actually a service. So when you subscribe to Citizenserve, you get unlimited support. And the unlimited support, it's not just if there's a bug, we're going to fix it, or you get upgrades of the software. It includes things like custom reports. We do ongoing training for people, and a lot of times it's challenging to get kind of from a paper-based system to a software system. I was just talking to one of our implementation folks the other day, and we're doing some special training for a 78-year-old or 79-year-old inspector in Somerville, Massachusetts, and that's the kind of stuff that we do all the time. It's like, hey, I need some extra training for a user, one-on-one time. We do, if you have a new permit process, if we get you set up on the system and you decide later that you want to, improve the system or add things to the system, that's included in the support. So, that's kind of one of the main differences, and I think kind of the challenges of where you're coming from is that if you kind of go down the traditional software approach where you do an implementation, you have to sign off on everything, and then you're kind of stuck with it unless you spend more money to have it changed. You're kind of at a disadvantage now because you're not really automated, and you're going to do something for 6 months and then go, hey, if we did it another way, or we want to add features. Some of our customers start out not using the citizen access page, not using some of the features, and the unlimited support is something that is really helpful because a year from now you may say, hey, we want to start using this feature in Citizenserve, and that's just included in the subscription. So it's easy to kind of fit us into an annual budgeting type of a process. We realize that when you go and ask for money, it's pretty much all the money that you're going to get, and we want to make sure that you're happy with the system so that you renew your subscription. So that's sort of, I think, one of the main benefits of the software as a service subscription model that we have to offer. So it's my understanding you want to take a look at permitting today. Is code enforcement important, or?
Yes, it is. It is an important function of what we do. The person that oversees that is not yet logged on, but maybe we can.
Well, yeah. What I'd like to do is go through, a simple permit application with a review process and an inspection where we issue the permit and we issue the certificate of occupancy. In our, kind of in our demo environment, and then I'll walk through a code enforcement case, and hopefully by then the person will be here. And then after that, I want to kind of maybe take you into some of our live implementations that we've done, because in the demo environment, I can kind of quickly get through a permit process. In the real world, the permits. Typically, like sometimes they're more complex and, kind of hard for me to get through that in an hour. So, but I'd like to show you kind of how things look in the real world with Citizenserve and kind of how we, really customize the environment for our customers. So, but with that, I thought I'd just jump in. Maybe we'll jump into permitting. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm just going to log in, and this is Citizenserve. You just log in from the internet. We have a device-independent, kind of a criteria or goal, so we want, the new iPad comes out, we want to work with that, new browser versions. If you're out in the field on a notebook or a Chromebook or a Android-based tablet, we want to work with that. So, we don't try to have our customers have to buy anything specific. And the reason that's important is because the citizen side of things, as you kind of get into an electronic relationship with your contractors and stuff, so you're not going to really be able to tell them what to buy, right? You might be able to have your staff, we're going to standardize on iPads, but when you're working with your contractors, they're going to have what they have. So this is, can everybody, I'm assuming everybody can kind of see my screen okay here. This is Citizenserve. We got a quick find area up here, which can be customized by the users. We got a list of recent files. Anything that you've recently accessed. This is really kind of like a user homepage. We can customize metrics. They can be almost anything in the system here. And then we've got tasks. Tasks are kind of things that are assigned to you. It might be a code enforcement inspection, a review of an application or something like that. Appointments are going to be something like an inspection, so where you have to be somewhere at a certain time. We can also customize the environment down here with special processing or things that maybe you want to see on a regular basis, and you can just click on these links here, and you can kind of go to whatever information you work with on a regular basis. This is all based on the user. If you set up a report that you run, it's not going to show up on everybody's screen. It's just going to show up on yours unless you actually share it with them, and then they can put it on their screen too if they want to. The stuff across the top here, there's a bunch of stuff on helping you manage your tasks, appointments, and to-do list, and here you can add cases, general cases. We do request tracking in addition to, code enforcement type cases. So if you have, things where trash pickup, snow removal, things like that, we can have, kind of almost like a work order citizen request tracking system. And then we also do business licenses. And sometimes people put their contractors, in the business licensing area. We've got a find area here where you can find files, people, contacts. It's very, you can put in lots of different information, and they're, almost always wildcard type searches. Properties, you can search on properties, and we've got, there's throughout the system we use Google Maps, and we also will import, and maintaining your property data in Citizenserve is actually included in the subscription. So there's never a charge to kind of update the information from the county or to include additional layers in the system. So you can send us anytime you want. You can say, hey, I want to see, my floodplain layer in the system, or I want to see, here we've got a couple examples here where we've got, manhole covers or fire hydrants and stuff like that. So you can go in and do that. And these objects on the screen, like say if I go back here to my zoning, I can click on the screen and see the information that's behind the geographical layer. So we've got a little map icon in the system that you can click on, and it'll kind of take you to this. In reports, the reporting area, we do custom reports for our customers, which is basically, you design the report and then say what the parameters are. Like, I want a date range of permits issued, or I want my expired permits report. And so when you do that, we actually will build the report, and then you can change the parameters. So you don't have to ask us every time you want that type of report. You can run it yourself with different types of parameters. We do map reports too. Like this is an example map report, and here you can see the parameter area where you can kind of put in different information. And if I run this will show me permits on a map. So we not only do custom reports for our customers, just like management reports, but we also do map reports. It could be you want to have a process to send out a letter to contractors with expiring licenses or something like that. To us, that's just a report. And our reports can actually do custom processing and things like that. So, sometimes you want to change the status of a file after you generate a letter and send it out, and we can do that sort of thing too. We're in Google Maps with this, so we can do pretty much, all the stuff that you would want to do with Google Maps, like, see the satellite view or street view and stuff like that. And all these reports you can actually put on your citizen side, the citizen website. If you've got a report that you want your citizens to be able to see, you can actually do that. So the administrative features are pretty robust in the system. You can customize all the drop-down list boxes. All the permit types, fees, everything is set up specifically for your configuration. The maintenance of this is something that you can do yourself, and you can say, hey, train me a little bit so I can do some of the things myself, or you can submit a support request, and we'll just do it for you. And it's pretty common, for us to do anything. Just we're adding a permit type, or I want to add another thing to a drop-down list box. A lot of times our customers don't have dedicated staff to support the system, and so they kind of just lean on our support team, and there's never a charge for that. We've got a support center that's built into the application, so if you need help with something, you can enter your whatever you want, your report, or you need some help with something, you can put it in here, and we kind of keep track of it for you, so what's what you've been submitted, and we need it because we want to know that we're closing the support request quickly. And you can also you can select down here standard or urgent. We literally have people sitting around waiting for report requests to come in, and we try to resolve them very quickly. If you mark something as urgent, we'll try to get it done within an hour. So that's kind of our value add here, is that we're very, very support and service oriented, and we want you to be happy using the software because we're a pay-as-you-go solution, and we want you to renew your subscription. So, if you're really happy with the software and everything's working great for you, then when the renewal comes up on an annual basis, you'll be like, sure, great, this is awesome. And if we're not doing a good job, then you're free to, choose another solution and go somewhere else. So, there's a bunch of stuff in settings here. We can set a lot of different options to kind of customize the environment. Things like what do you show on your task list and your appointments and stuff like that. It's very customizable. We import your signature, so we can put your signature on letters when you generate letters. And so we have like a dynamic. You can kind of select what quick find items you use. Some people, if you're doing code enforcement, you might want to have a different quick find fields than if you're doing permitting or if you're an inspector. So it's very customizable in terms of the environment per user. You can click on this Citizenserve logo here, and it'll take you back to your home page whenever you're anywhere in the system. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to add a permit project, and I'm just going to do a really simple new home construction. And this is a project-oriented sort of structure for permits and licenses, and so we can have multiple permits within one project. And I'm going to enter an address that I use a lot in the demos. And so I entered part of my address here, and I've got a map icon here. I can click on my map icon, pull it up. I can see where my address is. I can, if I want, I can pull in my layers while I'm looking at it. And if I wanted to, I could just drag this guy over here and say, oh, I don't want that address, I want this other one. So, and let's go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to click on search. And what this is going to do, basically, is this is my, pull my parcel information out for me. So I've got good owner information. I got a parcel number, all that type of stuff. And this is the data that we maintain for you in the system. And as soon as I pulled that up, you can kind of see here there's this other files that shows. And if I click on that, it's going to show me everything else that's going on at that address. So if there's a business license or other permits or a code enforcement case or even just like a request in the system, anything that's associated with that address is going to show up here for me. And this is all internet-based, so, it's kind of, you got to think browser or Amazon. I can click on one of these kind of links here, and it'll take me to that file number if I want. And I've got an alert here too. So we do alerts on property, we do alerts on people, so that if somebody's, say, going out to the property and you want them to know something about it, or that you want them to know something about a contractor or a citizen without having to dig through the notes in the file, something that's important, that's what the alerts are for. So this actually has a couple of alerts on it. And let's just go over here. We're going to pick that this is a permitting project. And we've got some custom information down here. I'll show you some examples of some of our customers usually have more property information, but you can, in addition to your assessor information, we can add any number of custom fields in the system to that you want available about properties or that you want to track on properties. So we can do custom fields on properties, we can do custom fields on people, we can do custom fields on permits, all that sort of thing. The permit types here, this is going to be your permit types. So that, we're just going through an example here, so I'm just using kind of our example. And I picked new construction, and for each permit type, we can have a, kind of what we call like a review route. It's kind of like, hey, you took an application in, and you want it to be reviewed by certain people in a certain order, and then, after it's been reviewed, then we'll approve the application and we'll issue the permit, and construction can begin, and then we start doing inspections. So, so here, this is the review route for this. These can be in parallel, they can be sequential, or any combination of the above. So you can kind of, one guy checks out the application, then we send it to 3 people, and when they finish it, it goes to the next guy. So we can do that sort of thing. I'm going to go ahead and save this workflow route. And I can change stuff in here if I want when I'm adding the permit, but I'll just go ahead and save that. And we have a little, user-friendly thing here to kind of copy the project name into the general description for the permit. So I'm just clicking on that because this is going to be a one permit project, and so I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to say that this is under review, and we have in the system we keep track of all your contractors, all your citizens, all that sort of stuff, and automatically on the applicant we pull in the property owner is somebody that could be the applicant, but we're just going to not pick that. We're going to pick a contractor. And I'm going to always have to want to search on it, so it's going to pull up a search thing, and if I don't find what I'm looking for, I'll click New, and I'll add that contractor. But I'm going to just pick Acme Construction here, and I always just type in Acme just because it'll pull up the stuff for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pick here Joe Smith with Acme Construction as my general contractor. And so now he's associated with the project, and you'll see him in the contacts listing, and if you want to send an email and stuff like that, he's going to be in the system. So this is my application area down here, and this can be anything. And I'll show you some of our real world applications, and we also can do links. If there's additional documents that you want to put in, just embed right in your application so people can kind of get more information. We can do that. And this is more important. You see it here on the staff side of Citizenserve, but it also appears on the citizen side. So if contractor is doing this online, you can embed those links, and that's provides kind of helpful information for them. What we show in the application on the staff side can be completely different than what we show on the citizen side. So we can kind of, for each field in the application, we can say, well, this is something we're going to show online, or we're not going to show it online, or maybe we're just going to take it online once and we'll never show it to anybody again. Which might be important if you're using, if you're collecting a business tax ID number, you might want to collect it in the application, but you don't want to show it to them again online in case somebody hacks their account or something. So this particular permit type is based on sort of like an ICC table. We can do fees based on almost anything. So, and the fees can be based on custom fields and ranges and all sorts of things. So we haven't really ever seen a fee structure we couldn't accommodate. So then this application is just asking me to put in my occupancy, construction type, and square footage, and then I'm going to pick my contractors down here, and I'm going to say my general is going to be the trades, for all the trades, and then I'm going to put in my plumbers, and we can actually, limit selections when you're doing some things like this. This particular example, we're showing, hey, you can only pick, city approved or, approved, town approved plumbers. So you got to have a plumber license, or you can't be, on the permit. So I picked that, and then we also have the ability on the applications to say these are the required documents that you need to upload. And these are, people can upload documents at any time, and you can upload documents into the file at any time. This is kind of like, in the application, you must put this stuff in. So I'm going to click on elevations here, and I'll pick an elevation document. So we do all this. All these are stored up in Citizenserve, so you can upload documents in the system, and they're stored up on our servers, and we do all sorts of stuff. Some of our customers do videos, audio files, pictures, plan documents, stuff like that. So what was I doing here? Floor plan. And I'm going to do a floor plan and a fire plan. And site plan. So now I've uploaded all these, and this particular permit has a automatic fee calculation, right? So I can also set up really complicated manual fees. I can have different categories of manual fees. We kind of run the whole gamut here with what we do potentially with fees. Sometimes plumbing permit might require fixtures, number of fixtures and stuff like that. But this is we can handle both complex automatic and manual fees. And we also do all the payments down here. If somebody pays online, it'll show up down here as an online payment. I'm going to go ahead and save this permit. And so this has kind of created my permit for me. If I go back in there, it's going to show me what the fees are. And I can allocate partial payments if I want. I can, if I want to put a payment in here, I can. And that sort of thing. But usually what happens, kind of I put the application in, now we're going through a review process. And, I was the first guy on the list, and it's my job to, review the application and make sure it's complete. And, way down here on my task list, here it is, October 3rd. I've been assigned this building permit initial review. And I'll click on that. It's going to take me right to the activity. All the activities in Citizenserve can be customized. So you can have checklists, you can have fields, you can have to input required documents, you can do all sorts of stuff. So in this particular case, it's just a checklist down here saying, hey, we want to have these particular things in the file. So I'm going to check these and go, hey, I didn't get my landscape plan, right? So I'm going to go ahead and send an email to the contractor and say, hey, I can get my landscape plan. Oops, let me pick my template first here. So I'm going to pick incomplete application email. All these templates are going to be customized, basically however you want to have them set up. And we used, an HTML editor, and we can do any kind of documents. We do photo ID cards. We do placards. We do, any combinations of graphics and signatures and anything like that. So we can pretty much do any kind of format. But I'm going to pick my incomplete application email. I'm going to click on the button here to select somebody. And this is giving me a list of everybody who's involved in the project. So we got everybody who's internal, who's involved in the review process, and the external folks. And I'm going to click on my contractors. I'm going to say, hey, I want to send him an email. And when I send emails out of the system, I can attach documents that are in the file if I want. I can also attach documents that are on my computer. If I want, I can preview. But let's go ahead and send this. And this is going to send the email and then put a copy of the email in my Documents tab. So here I've got the other documents that were uploaded with the application. You can kind of select what, you can define what source documents you want to have. And if I click on this email, you kind of see how we will take, incorporate the activity, kind of the custom fields in the activity, and we'll put them in the template. So it's kind of easy for me. I'm just going to send this out and say, I didn't get the landscape plan. So probably the next thing that's going to happen is the guy's going to give me the landscape plan, and I'm going to go back here to my review, and I can kind of see my review process here in motion. And I'm going to click on that activity, and I'm going to go back in here and say, hey, got my plan. This is now complete. I completed it today. And next thing I'm going to do is just save it. And then what's going to happen here is it's going to go to the next guys. So we got James Gordon and Ryan here. They've got to take a look at things. So that's sort of the review process and how it kind of goes. We've got this next activity is a plan review, and it's a little bit different the way it works. So I'm going to show that to you real quick. It's basically an area here where you can open all the documents, and look at all the documents associated with the file. But what's kind of different about the plan review activity is that we have this common comments area. And, you can put your common comments in here. Let me see if I can get my window back. You can put your common comments in here, and then just kind of go in and by category you can select what you're looking at. Pick the comments that you have on the plans, and click on Save. And it'll put the comments down here. You can add additional comments if you want. And then you can add new comments too. I'll click on Save for that. And same thing here. I went in, I added my comments, and I can go ahead now and say I'm going to send out a plan review report to my contractor, and click on Save here, and I'll just set email. And here my email goes into the system, and it's kind of the same thing as before. Is we're incorporating, we're pulling the comments out of there, and we're putting them in the email. You can either do emails or you can do letters, either one. So a lot of people are kind of in the permitting side of the world. They're trying to do more emails. A lot of times with property maintenance issues or violations, you need to print out a piece of paper and mail it for it to be enforceable. So that's kind of the process a little bit. We've got a couple of there's one new feature I kind of wanted to show you real quick. There's a markup capability that we're building into the system where you'll be able to, instead of having to use, and it's device independent, instead of having to use like Adobe or another markup tool, you'll be able to just click on markup within Citizenserve, mark up the document, add comments, see other people's comments, do measurements. There's like a calibration, a measurements thing here. And it's, this is kind of important for us because we want this process to be kind of incorporated with what the contractors can do. So, a lot of times you can't really tell the contractors what software they have to buy. So when they're using the Citizen Access pages, they'll just be able to go in and participate in the comments and markups in the system. So that's a pretty cool upcoming feature in the system. So we've, let's say we went through the review process and we want to issue our permit. Now I'll go back over here to the permit itself. We, in the system, we pull in the Google Street View as kind of like the project representation. You can change that picture whenever you want. Familiar icons here, I can add an alert if I want. I can look at my other files. I can see this on a map if I want to. But if I click on permits, it'll kind of go over here and I can generate my permit documents. And in this case, I want to generate a building permit. Now, we can do for all the permit documents and a lot of the documents in Citizenserve, we can do conditions. It's like stuff where you don't want somebody to be able to generate a permit or a CO if, some certain inspection hasn't been completed, or if there's money due on the permit, or if there's a problem with the contractor. So when I generate this permit here, and I can edit the permit first and then generate it, or I can just generate it, and I'll just generate this one here. And this is an example of the conditions. So, here I've got a couple of conditions that aren't met. This is a warning. We can also do a stop. It's like, hey, you can't print this unless you fix this in the file. So, this is, issue date's not blank, balance, and there's problem with the contractor. So, so let's generate the permit. We can do any kind of documents. This is, kind of a document with a signature on it. We can, sometimes we list required inspections on permits. Sometimes we list, kind of like almost becomes almost a receipt too with all the fees and stuff. But they can be kind of any kind of document. All the documents get saved. So you'll see, it asks me if I wanted to save the document. Here I go back over to my permit and I can pull up what was actually generated in the system, so that you kind of have a complete history of what's going on. So after we do the permit, we're probably going to do some inspections, after construction begins, and I'm going to schedule an inspection. And this is a option. It's kind of an example option in the system where you can show alerts on a property if you're scheduling an inspection or you're scheduling someone to go out there. And so it's something that you can turn on or turn off. But so I'm going to schedule a footing inspection. And, this is going to give me an option here to kind of schedule it. I can look at other people's schedules up here. And let's schedule this for noon today, noon to 1. And click save. And so this is, I'm just scheduling it. I'm not going to complete it. We'll just jump over and complete it here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and save that. So now this inspection is showing up. Sometimes we set up the system so that when a permit's generated, we actually automatically populate all the required inspections into the inspections tab. Some people, don't like to do it that way, so we can do it either way. I'm going to go back to my thing here and see my home page, and I've got basically my inspection showing up here on my calendar. This is just my daily task list that I've got. I can click on the file. It'll take me to the file, or I can click on the footing inspection. So say I'm out in the field. I've got my iPad. I show up at this property. I click on footing inspection, and I can have any kind of checklist. So, and we do boiler inspections for the state of Florida Fire Marshal, and I think it's like a 4-page inspection. So it can be pass-fail, or it can be a really complicated form. And we'll go ahead and pass these. And then with because we're kind of device independent, we kind of stay in the browser. If you're on an iPad or a device that supports it, you can pick the microphone out in the field instead of typing, and all the text boxes would support that input. So I could talk to my iPad and put my comments if I want. So let's go ahead and say that this is done. And we'll say it passed, and then I'm going to email this to my contractor. And this is my inspection report, and we'll go ahead and select my contractor here and save and send the email. So now I've sent my inspection report out. If I want to take a look at that, I can. And again, we're incorporating the checklists into our documents. So that way, it just makes it makes things kind of simple for us. So when one thing I didn't mention, there's an option in the system when things are assigned to you, you can get an email. So if I'm out in the field and somebody assigns me an inspection, I don't have to be in Citizenserve to actually see that I've gotten a new assignment. It'll just go to my email. So that's an option in the system. And then you can also, when you're doing tasks, you can actually put in that you want an email when it's been completed. So there's kind of like a notify on completion here. So if you assign something to somebody and you want to know when it's done, you can have it show up as an email for you or in your activity list. So, so basically, that's how the inspections go. And you would at that point, once the project's been completed, you would do a CO, and we've got a kind of a CO document in here. And I can go ahead and I see my conditions here based on the CO. These are warnings again, so I'm going to go ahead and generate it. And we can do any kind of document, again, any combination of graphics and fonts and colors and stuff like that. So that's the CO. So let's take a quick look. I wanted to quickly show you a kind of how that looks in the world. It's like Gotham City, and the demo is not necessarily how things go out in the world. Oops, let me see. Oh, I've got to get into our test system here, and I'll jump over. This is Somerville, Massachusetts. And there's a couple of so I've got a demolition in here, and so this is a little bit more a permit out in the real world where somebody's working on it live. And here's an example of keeping track of more property information. This is this is the information that we imported for Somerville. They are keeping a lot more information on the properties. And if I go over to the permits here, you'll see here that the permit itself it's pretty, it's a little more complex than your typical. So here's like type of work. This is a much more complex application than what we were looking at. So that's sort of a little bit on that. We've got here's their review process. They have a couple of different review routes in here. The review route sometimes is a review route, and then there's a resubmittal. And so you can have more than one, I guess is the point. Here's some inspections, and if I click on the inspections, these are pretty straightforward. I don't think that they have much in terms of forms. And then here's their permit. I wanted to kind of show you what their permit looks like. Their permit is a little bit different. It's got, and then they have like a check-off box here that this is probably a placard that where they're going to post this, and then they're going to have people actually sign this when they're out in the field and they do the inspections. So here's the. Let me take a look at like application comments. This is an email, and so this is just an email that they sent out. Looks like this one's directing them kind of to the online portal, and it's kind of it's just an example of some of the templates that we can do. If I click on history, you can kind of see a whole history of what's going on with a permit, and so we kind of keep track of the major events and changes and status changes, and when things are generated, documents are uploaded, and changes are made and stuff like that. So I think the other one I wanted to look at is this one. Oops. Yep, that's the one. So here's another example of the permit. This is a residential repair. It looks pretty much the same. We'll actually take all your permits and put them in the system. Document-wise, here's the permit card for that. I think it's almost the same as the other one. It's just I don't think it actually requires any inspections. So, and then the other one I wanted to take a quick look at because they have a more complex setup. Let's go back to Citizenserve, and if we look at this, this is a permit, Spanish Fork, Utah, and they have, here's an inspection report email that they send out. We've got another permit here. This is kind of the Spanish Fork permit, and you can kind of see that this looks completely different. So it's sort of here we've got the first page is kind of a little bit more of what the permit's about, and then we've got what the required inspections are, and then a financial summary on the third page. So the variety of what we're able to do is pretty broad. We tend to work with what you've got, and then if you want to improve on it or change it, that's kind of all included in the service. So I think that I haven't checked out any of their. Let's check out their footing inspection to see if it's got much. It doesn't really. It's just got some fees. Some of our customers charge for inspections. Some of them don't. So, but that's a little bit on kind of how we customize some of the documents in the world. The next thing I'm going to do is jump into code enforcement or property maintenance. Is there any questions so far?
I was curious. I guess, in as much as the subscription is for 10 members or 10. Well, we're anticipating to initially have 10 people subscribing to the software.
Okay.
Can somebody else be able to access and look at inspection reports or histories of inspection reports other than the 10 people that are subscribed?
Well, it depends on who it is. If it's a contractor, they can just get to that through the citizen access pages. And let's say if I go, and this is our demo kind of area, so it's a little bit less refined than the citizen access pages that our customers might have. But if I go here, and this is the citizen side, which is all customizable for you by with HTML and stuff like that. But if I click on permitting, and I can customize documents and links and stuff like that. But so if I want to view my permits, I can log in to the system, and when I log into the system, it will kind of show me all the stuff that I'm working on, and I can click on the permit, and I can go in and see and all of this stuff can kind of be turned on and turned off, dynamically. And the reason is some of our customers, want to show everything about the project. Some of them don't want to show anything. So we kind of can do the whole thing. But if I want to see documents, permit documents, I can see the review process, where we're at with that. I can see the inspections, activities. I can see notes. And I can also see other contacts. So there's a lot you can do in the, if you're a contractor or a citizen, there's a lot you can see if with the citizen access pages. The other option, if it's an administrative personnel, or just some, you want to have a shared login for another department that maybe is like a read-only, and I just kind of, oftentimes we'll set up one of the subscriptions as a read-only administrative account for city management or something like that, and so you can actually share it. We'll do a shared read-only subscription, and so that's it does cost one extra subscription, but you could if you have like 5 or 6 occasional users, that's a good approach for that. That way they can look.
My concern was over the weekend, or maybe the fire department. There's a fire somewhere in the community. The fire department is responding, or say an incident. If they do have that access, which is part of the shared read-only subscription, they'll be able to pull the property up on their mobile devices and be able to look up any history on the property and respond accordingly. Yeah,
and that's pretty common. It's just sort of like the people that they're not really using the system or participating in the workflow or entering any data. They just need to look stuff up, and it's occasionally. So yeah, we can do that. Let's take a look at. I'm going to log off and jump over to. We'll do a quick code enforcement case. And everything looks the same in Citizenserve. We developed everything in the system from, from the beginning. We haven't acquired any things or software so that, the code looks the same as business licensing, looks the same as permitting, looks the same as planning and zoning, looks the same as everything else in the system. So there's tasks and recent files. And if you're somebody who's doing all of these things, you can have access to everything and participate in the workflow just kind of from your one home page. So I'm going to add a code enforcement case, and here we're going to ask for a citizen name, and these can be anonymous, so it's no big deal if I don't have the person's name. I'll put in part of their name, and again I'm going to search my contact database to see if they're in there, and I'll pick Granny Smith here. And when I pick a citizen in the code enforcement thing, we're kind of assuming that you might be talking to them on the phone or they might be there, and I can. What just happened is when I picked that person, it pulls up all their information for me, and I can, if I want to change their cell phone number or update their information or confirm it, I can. With our case management, I've got, Granny Smith here is a business owner in the system, but I can also have an association to case, and so in a code case you might have a tenant and a property manager and a property owner and that type of stuff. So you can keep track of all the associations to cases without really having to change the contact type. So same as before, if I want to add an alert, I can right here on the spot, or I can see everything else that Granny Smith is involved in. And I'll put in a brief description here. Weed and an abandoned vehicle. And this is the brief description. We use this for searching and reporting and stuff like that. If you want to type in paragraphs and paragraphs of information about the case, you can do that here in notes. I'm going to put in a property. I'll pick a case type. This is a code case. And I'll put in, let's say I'm using my 141 Baker. And let's say, for instance, that that's Granny Smith's address, and she's like, it's 3 doors down or something, right? So I'll go in here and I'll just go, okay, all right, at that one there, and I'll just click on that. And then I can pull in that information into the case. I can pick a case category here and also maybe pick how it was received. These are all customizable based on your needs. And again, I've got a little bit different. Each case type can have, whether it's permit or file type, permit, code, planning, can have different property information that shows up. And the next thing we usually do in a case, like a code case, is an assign an inspection. So I'm going to just go ahead and put, this isn't required, but I'm going to go ahead and just put a start date and a due date. Start date's kind of when it's going to show up on somebody's list. Due date's like when it's supposed to be done by. Here's my notify on completion that we were talking about before. You can also keep track of other activity information with this, but I'll save this. This is going to create the case for me. If I had, and I just had my emails in here, so I'll show you what. So I just got a email saying, hey, I got a new activity assigned to me, and I can click on here to open it if I want. So here's my case. If there was a Google image for this address, it would put that in there. I can click on other files. I can see other things going on at this address, and this is a little bit different. I've got kind of the same stuff, sort of contacts. Activities going to be inspections, documents, and in violations and fees. So now I'm going to go out in the field, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff here on my to-do list. But I'll go down to the bottom, and there's my inspection. So let's say I'm out in the field, and I want to complete my inspection. I'm going to go to the file, and I'm probably going to note violations. Probably might be my first move. So So I'm going to add a violation. We can keep track of multiple violations with one case, and you can have a different disposition on each one and kind of manage each one separately. We'll put in all your codes, and so you can pick from the description or from the code violation, either one. So, and then if you want to see the detailed, paragraphs and paragraphs of city ordinances, you can kind of click on, the full description part. And the reason we keep track of that is sometimes you put the full description in your notice of violation. So I'll put in here homeowner graphs. And we actually do, with code, we like the city of Sacramento uses us for code enforcement. I mean, they've got like 120 users. We do for them, the dangerous buildings department, rental licensing, all this other stuff. And, these code cases can get, what I'm showing is probably kind of simple. We can manage, the whole process of you got a violation, you got high weeds, we send you a certified letter, we've a citation, and then, and then even the contracting process on the back end, which could be like I send out a work order to my contractor to go mow the grass there, and then I send an invoice to the homeowner. So we can do a whole, kind of automate whole processes like that. So, so I put my comments in. I'm going to put in a photo, and if you're out in the field, you got an iPad. When you click on Choose File here, it'll ask you if you want to use the camera or pick from your library. So you can just put the photo right into the case. And here's my photo, and I can see my photo here of my weeds. So, and okay, so let's this actually this is just a violation that I'm inputting. I'm going to click on these icons up here. Kind of this means I'm done. If I want to add another one really quick, I can click on that little save button there and look for my non-operative vehicles, and I'll go ahead and put in here homeowner needs car. Property. And I'll go ahead and take another picture. And here's my car. See that. And so let's say I'm done. And I got my 2 violations here. They're both open. I'm out in the field. If I want, I can generate a notice of violation right there and print it out. And kind of the cool thing now is you can bring a printer with you in your vehicle. A lot of our customers, sometimes people want to use the mobile printer, but you can just use a regular printer with one of those little car adapter things and plug it into your car. And the printers are cheap. They're like $75, and you can print right from your iPad. So let's do a letter. And so this is the letter generation in code. And so I've got my association to case. I want to send the letter to the property owner. Maybe I'm going to tape it to their door or something. So I have a whole bunch of letter types here in my code area, and I'm going to pick violation letter. And we can do letter variables. So like if you're going to, track something at the time of generation of the letter, you can do that. We also allow you to attach, an option when you're doing letter generation in Citizenserve. You can attach other files, and so or other documents, right? And so I can click on that and include my pictures. Now I can click on this edit document. It's going to let me edit the document before I generate it, or I can just generate the letter. And so here's my letter, and I'm listing my violations. Throw my comments in. You can have any information from the database on the letter here. It's very easy for us to modify the letters. We've been doing this 11 years, so it's kind of a pretty straightforward. I've got my signature here on the letter, and automatically, and then I've got my pictures. So if I go into print preview, you can kind of see a little bit more about what it looks like. So it's just pretty straightforward, same as before. If you want to save it back to the file, you can save it back to the file. And let me jump back to where we were, and I'm going to print this out. And So here's my, actually as it was printed, it's in there for me. So probably the next step in the process here is that I'm going to complete my inspection, and I'll put in a completion date. This will get it off my task list, and I'll say here that I took pictures. And issued NOV. So the we're in the browser. So if you've got if you spell something wrong, it'll pick up your spelling. So based on what browser you're using and what spell checking capabilities or how it works and what you've got turned on. So, and we also, in the end user support or support that we do for our customers, if you have a problem with your browser, we help you fix it. So it's not, we don't tell you, go call the IT department, because we don't do browsers. We do browsers. So so I'm going to save this. Actually, instead of saving it, I'm going to schedule my reinspection. That's what that little calendar guy there is for. And I'll pick reinspection here for me in my activities, and we'll start that today. And it's got to be done, we'll say the 10th. But so here's my reinspection showing up. If I go back out there and I do the reinspection and I see issues, I can, kind of take it to the next level. And this is what I was kind of talking about before, is you can have a, kind of a process, because that's how code cases go, is, it goes from just a simple courtesy letter to a certified letter to a, citation to a, I'm sending this package to the court, for prosecution, so, or whatever. So here's a citation notice. Let's take it. And again, this particular letter is letting me add additional documents, and I'll just not do that, and I can generate my citation. And this is a letter that does processing, and that's like a really important concept in Citizenserve, because we're not just printing letters like out of Word. We can actually make changes to the file and so when this letter is generated, it's kind of an event in the case, and we assess the fines. So and it should show up here in my fees thing. So I've got, I'm tracking fees in this particular case, and I've assessed some fines when that letter was generated. So so that's it's not just some of our letters actually do some processing. So so anyways, that's kind of the code area. I mentioned before, there's lots of neat stuff in Citizenserve, like with reports. If I wanted to generate a custom report here on this case to forward to an outside party, I can go in and select all this information if I want. Let's just go ahead and click select all, and I'll generate I guess down at the bottom. I'll click submit, and so this is generating a complete case summary report with everybody who's involved, all the violations, chronological history, all the letters that were sent out, everything. So that's the kind of stuff that we can do in the reports area. There's we've got we do a lot of custom reports, and we can do pretty complicated reports. Sometimes reports are this is like it's probably one of our customers out west, where they do they send out notices to people during fire season and stuff like that. So this is an annual we do lot notice. When we generate this, you can save it back to the file. So you've got that. You can click on this, it'll put it on your home page so that it's kind of easy access. So this is just an example, kind of it's almost like a mail merge letter in a way, and so you can do these types of things. To us, this is a report. So when I say we do custom reports, you can call us and say, hey, we want to start doing this, and we'll set it up for you as part of the subscription. The other things that are reports, like this turnaround, this dashboard report here, I think it's something we did for Florida, the state of Florida, and it's. I'd like to show it to people as just a typical management report, kind of like a annual summary or something like that. And this one takes a second to run. But this is an example, another example of a type of report. This is a complex sort of a management report, and these are also an example of the types of reports we do. The you can export to PDF, you can export to Excel, you can do mail merges. I'll show you this mail merge thing pretty quick. It's pretty cool. So here I've got a proximity search. So let's say if I want to send a notice out to all the people within 300 feet of a certain property. Let's put in our 141 Baker. And I'll just click on this here. And so here's my listing of all these people. And I can, instead of exporting to Excel or PDF, I can go, hey, I want to do a mail merge or an email merge. So let's do a mail merge. And I can pick a letter here. And so here I've got like a public hearing notice template. And so I can modify the template before I generate it, and I can kind of go in here and pick. I've got in the letter there's some fields that are kind of formatted like this here. It's kind of like a mail merge in Word, and you can kind of go in and actually pick what matches, right? And if they already match, then you won't have to pick anything. So it's, if you won't actually have to do that. They'll automatically match up if they were automatically the same. So, and here's my letter. So, I can easily go in and pick a template letter and generate it. So, that's an example of, kind of a little bit more of a, instead of a hardcore, report that's kind of fixed, this is, a little bit more flexible way to send out a notice. So that's kind of the a little bit on code enforcement. Is there any questions?
Just curious regarding the notification process. Can we also generate? I'm assuming that's all based on parcels, obviously, right?
Yes, that particular reports. I think it's a parcel-based.
Right, and it's GIS, basically a GIS layer.
Yes.
How about the? Can we also incorporate a map layer or parcel map layer for the properties that would be affected? Yeah, in the notification. I'm not sure that that's.
I think we can. I'd have to ask about that. That would, to me, it sounds like it's a map report to me.
Right.
It just sounds like it's just a letter that also includes kind of a map on it. So, like this is open code files on a map, and so you could include this in your kind of as a page in your letter or report or something like that, I think.
Yeah,
so,
and really what we're looking at is more of like a parcel map.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I would say that the parcel map might be a document that you upload to the file, and then you just include it you would include it in the mailing. Because whenever I generate, if I generate certain types of letters, I can pick things out of the file. So if there's additional documents, we selected pictures when we were sending out a letter, but it could be anything that's in the file. So if you have anything in the file, if you have any document in the file, you can attach it to your mailing.
We have to do notifications for a property and 500 feet within that property of making it say a notification to all those people.
Yep.
And that might be based on a GIS overlay. And can we go right from that to print labels, name and addresses?
I think so. I'm not. I haven't done that before. But I think that we can. I'm pretty sure we can do that. If you've got your main list, or it may be that you can almost pick it on a map and then pull the addresses out.
Right. But I guess for example, the example you used, if you could go back to that example of 300 feet. Okay, well, if you could do a 500-foot radius.
Oh yeah, we can do that. You can change. If I go to reports, proximity search, and like if I do 500, it's just going to give me more addresses. So, and then if I have in my template, if I have that, if I have the template letter actually. When you generate a letter, you can say include other documents. Then I can pick my my site document or whatever other document I want to put in there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we could do that. That sounds pretty common actually.
So basically, you'd be able to identify what the radius was based on these addresses, on a parcel map.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can, and that's if it's something in particular that you have to do based on your ordinances or rules, we would just do a custom report for you, where you can get specifically what you want. The proximity search is just that's one of our standard reports. So if it doesn't meet your needs, you just go, hey, well, I want a custom report, and then you'll put it up in your folders here. You can arrange your kind of reports in folders. Let me see if I can. I want to go back to.
Just real quick on that same subject. If say 3 years from now, this same property came up as as an appeal to the zoning hearing board, I guess we could just go back to that report that was, or that list that was generated previously, and just use that as opposed to. I mean, I guess it's either way. We could do it either way. We could go back to the previous report or mail merger, or we could just use a new one. I don't think it really makes a difference. It's just a click of a button.
Yep. Yeah, so we used to we used to do custom development back in the 90s. We started in 2003 with this, and we kind of we were working for like the city of Phoenix and some other customers doing big custom development projects, and we kind of it's like we would do these projects, and then it was after it was signed off, the users basically would have to throw in every possible report they could ever want, so that at the end of the project they had everything. And we were kind of, we're doing 300 reports, but they're probably not going to use them all. And so when we did Citizenserve, we're like, hey, let's just give the people what they want, right? If you have a report that you want, we'll make it for you whenever you need it. And then you can run it again yourself once it's set up, or modify it, if you want to add stuff to it. And that's actually, I think it creates a much happier customer, because you don't have to search through 300 reports to try to figure out what report you want. We just give you the report you want. So, and that seems to work pretty good in terms of. And then one thing I didn't show you, like I was mentioning that in the admin area, that say here in lookups, it said that letters are pretty easy to change. So let's say if I wanted to go into my certificate of occupancy here, and I wanted to add something to it, like the legal description or something like that, I can go into the system. This is just a HTML editor, and let's say I wanted legal description off my property. I can go up to information. So these are the types of letters and stuff, but here's the field type I want to insert. I click on property. I go to say legal description here, and I just click on paste, right? and they don't put it in there for me. I click save, and it's been changed. So it's we offer this unlimited support, and if you want a letter, we'll make it for you, or you can do it yourself. But over the 11 years, we've made it pretty easy to do the administration and the maintenance, because we do a lot of the administration and the maintenance. Our support team does. So we have a motivation to kind of keep it simple. So and really flexible, so that we can meet specific needs. The municipal governments across the country, there's a pretty wide variety in permit types and fee structures and application fields and stuff like that. So Citizenserve has really been designed to accommodate kind of a wide variety of requirements.
Very good, very good. There's another question here.
Other question. Your support is all online, so we have a question about something, you try to get back to us within, say, an hour or so with any specific thing that we're having trouble with. Where are you based out of? California?
We're actually in Tempe, Arizona. It's kind of the Phoenix area. You can call us. That's not a problem. You can email or you can call. We try to encourage people to use the support center because it just helps us keep track of your issues and make sure that we get them resolved quickly. So, but you can call. We work, and we have, most of our customers are on the East Coast. So, we are pretty much 8 a.m. to Eastern time, which is now 5 p.m. here, to 6 p.m. Pacific. That's when we're working, but it's really 24/7. I mean, if you submitted a support request on the weekend, we're going to address it.
So 8 p.m. Pacific, late 10, 11 o'clock here, basically, on the East Coast.
Oh, no, I'm in 5 o'clock. Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern, or 8 a.m. Eastern is when we're going. So it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So, that's just it's what we do. I mean, we have customers all over Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Massachusetts, New York. We have other customers in Pennsylvania. So Eastern time is normal for us. So
anybody try to fill it where we're at? Any of the municipalities close by that we might see, how they're operating? We have because we're not like a city. It's a township, and there's different kinds of things that are a little bit different than, say, some of what might be a city government operating with a city manager.
Yeah, we definitely can do it. York Township is a customer. Pin Hills, the municipality of Pin Hills, I think that's over in the Pittsburgh area. And why can't I think of? Wilkes-Barre. And then we're also doing a project right now for Philadelphia. The city of Philadelphia, they have it's a department. We do end up doing, because our solution's so flexible. We do a lot of specialty stuff, and we're doing a implementation for, I think it's the health departments, like air management services, EPA permits, asbestos removal, people operating plants that affect the environment have to get permits based on the EPA and stuff like that. So that's not implemented yet, but we're actively implementing it right now. I think we put them in the proposal as a reference. So.
Sounds like you're a pretty flexible system to do a lot of different things here. So.
Yeah, you'd be amazed. I mean, and everybody kind of sets things up differently. I remember York Township, they're one of the ones where they wanted to put the inspections, when the permit was created, they wanted to insert all the inspection activities, and then other people, we have other customers. I think Wilkes-Barre, the inspectors were like, well, we're just going to do it on our clipboard and scan it in, right? The inspections, instead of doing an inspection form, they're just going to scan in their paper form, right? And we're okay with that. And what I was trying to mention at the beginning of the call was because of our support and the way we work with our customers, you can start out one way and decide in a year or 2 years, hey, we want to change it, and we want to start doing an inspection checklist, in Citizenserve. And that's not going to cost you any extra money. It's just it's part of the subscription, and our motivation, hey, we want to keep you happy so that you keep renewing your subscription. So and I think that's one of the benefits, especially when you're coming from a paper environment, is that you may not know really what you want to do, and then we can get you up and running, and you can kind of improve things as you go. So
the data that's generated here, like the contacts we put in, the customer list or the vendor list, I mean, is that, say we're working with you for a while, and I mean, there's a lot of data we're entering in for maybe a few years, and then decide that we need a different kind of system. Who owns that data?
You own it, and that's really the way it is with all of our customers. I mean, we work exclusively with the government, so it's it's you own the data. We never do anything with it. We don't sell it. We don't do anything like that. It's your data. You can get a copy anytime you want. Some of our customers will get regular copies. Maybe they're doing some reporting or something like that, and they want a local copy of the database. But we can give it to you, and it's in Microsoft SQL Server format. So that's a standard, kind of an industry standard format, and it's easy to work with. We do our best to keep our customers happy, but we know that you need to operate your operation. So if and I think that I'm trying to think of one of our customers. I think it was Bexar County, Texas, and they came to us. They needed a code enforcement solution. Their IT department was working on a enterprise-wide system, and they're like, we need something now. We set them up. They probably had 10 or 12 users use the system. It actually took 5 years for their IT department to kind of get around to completing what they were working on. So they used us for 5 years, and then they migrated to the system that the IT department had implemented. So we're not. To us, that's just normal. I mean, we definitely want our customers to stay happy, and we want good references. So, and we also know that sometimes, there's in Bexar County is kind of large, and they got to do what the IT department says. So, we're okay with that. So.
Are there any requirements on our end in terms of our server, or it's just all web-based, and we don't really need any upgrades or anything like that on our
Yeah, you don't need anything. You need a device with an internet connection, and you can work anywhere. You can work at home. You can work on your home computer. You can work in the field with an iPad. You can have a notebook computer. You won't need any server-side software to use Citizenserve. And we update the software. It used to be once a month. Now it's more like 2 times a month. So we are always adding features. I mean, that's one of the things that you can do with the support center. If you want to add a feature, you can, submit a request there. We get most of our great ideas come from our customers. So that's kind of it's because we have only one. There's only one version of Citizenserve. You get all the upgrades. You get all the, if we add something new like the document management thing or the document markup and review that we're doing, we just add that, and we add it because we want people to keep subscribing, right?
Downtime when upgrading or when doing upgrades?
No, there isn't. We have when we do a kind of a rollout first. We always first roll things out into our test environment first. But when we roll it from test to production, it's the middle of the night, and it's probably 5 minutes. So, But yeah, we don't have a lot of downtime. I mean, it's been 11 years. I think if you added up our downtime, we would be a 99.99 plus environment. We've been managing this type of environment for a long time, and we have a data center here in Phoenix we use, which is I think it's probably 1 million square feet, and it's a SaaS 70 or SSAE 16 certified facility. It's military grade type of stuff, and we also have a secondary data center. It's in New Jersey, and that's the same thing. I mean, it's a SSAE 16, a SAS 70 compliant. We work. A lot of our smaller customers don't have particular requirements in that area, but when we're working with the state of Florida or the city of Sacramento or some of our other larger customers, city of Philadelphia, they basically check us out pretty good to make sure that we've got best practices in terms of security and backups, and we maintain a failover environment. If there's a complete catastrophe in Phoenix, we can be up and running quickly. I'd say within an hour in New Jersey. So that's just how we have to operate, and we have thousands of users. So if we have a system-wide problem, it's a big deal. So.
Oh, well, thank you very much for the presentation. I'm not sure if there are any other questions. Richard, do you have any?
I think, is there any other reason that we would say any reason that we might need on-site support, that somebody would have to come in and make any kind of adjustments to,
Well, what we do is when we do training and support, we'll use the same kind of technology we're using here. We use GoToMeeting, and we can see. First off, we're hosting all the hardware and software, so there's really no reason for us to actually be physically there because everything's kind of physically in our data centers. But if we need to see your screen or do like a training session where we can see what you're doing, we can be there in minutes with a GoToMeeting session, and that's trust me, our customers love it. They don't want to wait a week for some guy to fly up there and fix their problem. They want to fix it right away.
I've had trouble even with Google sometimes because a setting was off, and you could actually take the screen, I would imagine.
Yep, that's what we do. We can take over your screen, and that's browser issues. Yeah, you can have like your pop-up things not enabled or something like that, and we're kind of used to those types of issues. But our customers, I think in general they really like the idea that, and we can provide a higher quality. You get more continuity when we work, kind of with web conferencing, because you'll end up working with the same person. You don't have to worry that the trainer comes in, that whoever's doing your implementation is going to be doing your support too, right? And so you're going to get some continuity with the staff as opposed to you talk to the sales guy and then you talk to the training person and the training person's off somewhere else, training somebody else, and they're not available. Our staff, pretty much, we're kind of motivated to keep track of our customers and have a person, a people continuity so that you're kind of working with the same people. And it has to do too with the fact that your processes are specific to your business, and so we try to keep people that are knowledgeable available to do that. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if our fire marshal has any questions. But otherwise, I think we're
okay.
Good.
One last thing I wanted to show you really quick is that we do have a bunch of, some of these are older and they don't include all the new features and stuff that we have, but there are some. If you go to youtube.com/Citizenserve, you'll see some demos up there. So that's something that if you want to follow on or you want to see some other perspectives on Citizenserve or that's available, and there are some demos up on the website too. So. And you can feel free. You guys are making a big decision. So if you want to have a follow-on conference, or if you have any other questions, just let me know.
Sounds great. Now this was recorded. We'll be able to, if we need to, we can get a copy of this.
Yeah, I actually recorded this. So if you want, I could probably put it up on YouTube, or I can FTP it to you, or put it on Dropbox or something like that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I really appreciate
your
time.
Great. Thanks, Henry. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.